Welcome guys, in this video we're doing a review of the Ring Pro Smart Doorbell, but let's take a step back and let me show you some of the box contents. Now I do recommend you watch the unboxing video of this Ring Pro Doorbell kit, but I'll give you a quick rundown of this video anyway. So out of the box you're getting the screwdriver, which actually has dual-sided edges on it, which is actually quite helpful because you'll have to, use different sizes fittings depending on what you're doing and part of the installation of the Ring Doorbell itself. You have a drill bit included in case you have to drill a hole through your wall for fitting some screws in, and there are 4 faceplates included. Now one will be on the doorbell itself, I'll be showing you guys, and those are the other 3 colors that are included in the box. Okay, so Ring advertised that installation is pretty easy, but for some people it might be a little difficult. Now here's the thing you have to do, is that the first thing they mentioned is to set up the app on the phone. I actually skipped that and decided to go with the installation of the doorbell itself. I mean, what's the point of setting up the app if for some reason I can't get it to be compatible with my current doorbell setup, right? So the first thing they recommend is turning off the fuse box connection to your doorbell, which is highly recommended for safety reasons. You have to remove the panel, and you have to unhook some of the wirings that are included. They actually are very particular about which ones to remove, and they specify this all in the instruction manual. This little box right here that I'm showing you is the power kit, which you will need to attach to the wires that you unhook up from your doorbell box. So once all the wiring is done, you're pretty much set for the inside of the house, except I had a bit of trouble and you might run into the same issue. So the problem is that my cover for my actual doorbell, the bell inside the house, would not actually accommodate the size of the power kit adapter. Now the Ring company was actually nice enough and thoughtful enough to include some double-edged tape, so you can actually attach the Ring kit to the outside of your cover, which I had to do, and quite honestly it's so high up no one will ever notice it. At this point we can actually go outside and work with the doorbell button itself, still making sure that the fuse box is disconnected with power from your old doorbell. This is still important for safety reasons and is mentioned in the Ring Doorbell instruction manual. Now there's going to be 2 wires behind your old doorbell, at least there should be, and it doesn't matter which one is connected to which socket on the back of the Ring Pro Smart Doorbell. Now I do recommend before actually buying this kit that you call Ring or maybe go to the website, because your old doorbell system might not be compatible or may not provide enough power to power up the actual smart doorbell. But this is actually one of the easier steps, just like the inside. Actually, this is easier than the inside part. The only trouble you might have is if you have to actually drill a hole into your panel if the new Ring Pro doorbell isn't really fitting too well and snug. So since the light is flashing and I'm getting a whole bunch of buzzing noises and sounds from the Ring Pro doorbell, I know that my doorbell system, the old one, is actually compatible with the smart doorbell, so I'm going to go back and install the app on my phone. Now at this point it does mention the instruction manual, you have to wait about 2 to 3 minutes for it to kind of power up for the first time, and you can go through the app setup. I noticed that it's best to remove the cover, because it is mentioned that on the side, just below the cover, there's actually like a special reset button you should be pressing for the first time. It's also pretty neat that during the setup you actually get some audio feedback saying, well, you can take a listen for yourself.
Your Ring Video Doorbell is getting ready to connect to your Wi-Fi network. This might take a moment. Rome wasn't built in a day.
And that seems to be pretty much it. The setup seemed to be really easy getting it hooked up with my network. Although the first time looking through the camera on my app, I noticed it's in night mode, but I think that's because it's the first time I ever set it up. Afterwards, I never had that issue again. Okay, so at this point, I've actually gone ahead and set all the holes properly that I had to drill into my panel. Now, one thing I want to mention is I noticed that when you ring the doorbell, it's a bit of a delay sending the signal to your smartphone. There's about a 10-second delay when I tested this. Not a big deal, but I do find that kind of strange it takes that long to go through. Another thing I find kind of strange is that when you press the doorbell outside, it chimes inside on your home doorbell, but it also rings outside. Take a listen. So I'm not sure why it has to ring outside, but whatever. I find that just kind of silly though. So what you guys are seeing is just the basic layout of the interface. You can show your notifications. You get all notifications listed at the main, or maybe just notifications when someone rang the doorbell or when there's motion detected, which I'll demonstrate later. And yes, there's also 2-way intercom built into the doorbell. And it's pretty funny when every new delivery person comes up or my friends come over for the first time, I just say, hey, you're entering a haunted house, and my friends kind of spaz out, and it's always hilarious because they're not sure what's going on. Take a listen.
Hello? Amazon delivery. Hi, come in the garage, I'll open it up for you. Okay.
Now going back to those notifications and that motion settings I was telling you guys about, now if you actually go through the settings you can see what's live. Maybe someone went through your motions area that you set. So if you tap your product itself in the app, you can get notifications when someone rings your doorbell or someone goes in your motion area. So what you can do is actually go to motion settings, and here you can actually set areas in which if there's motion detected where you outline, it'll send a notification to your phone saying, hey, there's actually motion detected within your set area. There's a lot of customization here in terms of the shape and size and area you want to cover. And it's not just limited to one zone, as what they call them. You can add a new one if you want to. It's pretty neat. The next option within the app I want to demonstrate is live view, which is literally a live view of what's happening. You'll notice that my view is at a weird angle of where my door is because the original doorbell setup was done stupidly. Straight up. But thankfully the smart doorbell has a 1080p camera and it has a wide angle lens, so despite it being on such a bizarre angle as I demonstrated with the Amazon delivery person for example, I can always see who's right at the doorbell and ringing my doorbell. Double tapping on what's being portrayed will actually zoom in and you can kind of just shift around a little bit. And there's actually additional options available, like say shared users. So I've actually shared this accessibility with my wife's phone. She's able to access what's going on with the Ring doorbell as well. You can add additional services from other smart products like ADT services, Wemo. In fact, if you want additional chime alert, when someone rings your doorbell in your house, you can actually purchase them sold separately from Ring's website. Now there is also a plan you can purchase for $3 US a month or $30 US a year, in which you can stream and store data from their cloud storage service. Although what I find totally lame here in 2016 is kind of a ripoff, is that Ring does not allow you to store your video